Morning routines. Yes, this is brilliant. We love our morning routines. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to explain the methodology of GAME, and I'm going to explain to you my current morning routine and everything that I do in it and how you can start to use that routine or an amalgamation of what I speak about to create your own, which is going to supercharge your day. Because the fact is your morning routine and the rituals that you create now is going to be who you are in 5 years' time. So these are something that you really need to think about. Okay, so morning routines. First thing, I wake up in the morning and I drink a glass of water. And why do I do that? Because throughout the night you're going to be dehydrated and you need to get some water in your system to hydrate you so that you're ready to kickstart your day. If I'm ever tired, it's purely because I'm dehydrated. Almost all the time. So you need to start getting into the routine of drinking water in the morning. Next, I do the Wim Hof method, which is different breathing exercises. And why do I do this? Is because I want to get more oxygen into my body. It also allows me to do some stretching and some other things that gets the oxygen going into my system and wakes my body up. Some people do exercise, some people do stretching, similar to what I said, breathing exercises. But there's different things that you can do there which really help you prepare and shift to a higher gear before you start your day. The next thing I do is I take a shower and I make sure that I finish off with a really cold shower because that opens up your veins, gets your bloods going and really gets you moving and ready to go. Instead of like a hot shower where you're like, oh, I'm relaxed. You have a shower, but then you make it cold so you're ready to kickstart your day and to really, really move forward. And the next thing I do is priming, which is a Tony Robbins technique. I'll take you through it because I've changed it recently because I think it's more powerful. And I think that you should do the same if you're using this technique. Make it your own. So it's like a meditation visualization. So the first thing I do is I do the breathing exercises where you're like, and I do that 30 times. Then I take 2 deep breaths. So and then I do it again. So up, down, same thing. Then I sit down, go into a pose. I make sure that both feet are on the floor so I'm grounded. Then what I do is I visualize and I imagine 3 things that I'm grateful for. First 2 are things that are like big things, and the last one is something really, really small that I've perhaps overlooked just because I've been so fortunate to have it in my life so far. Then what I do is I imagine energy coming in and out of me, but actually grounding me. What do I mean by grounding? I mean, often we're so busy that we don't really ground ourselves and become much more centered and one. So I imagine myself really being grounded, imagine the energy coming in and out of my feet. It's really, really important for me. And what I do is I imagine purple going through my body as my core. And then I imagine my own color, which is like my spiritual animal of a horse, and I imagine that and all that energy coming into me. Okay, so I move that from head to toe, I move it up and down so I really feel that energy. Then what I do is I spread that out. I imagine it here in front of me, and I spread it out to my family, my friends. And then what I often do is I imagine all the energy and the only things that I can affect are just in my body right now. So I get all the energy there, and then I expand it to fill the room. Then from the room, I expand it to, let's say, fill a city, and then to fill an entire world, and I feel all those interconnected energies. What happens there is it expands your influence, and it starts to change how you feel and how you react with other things. So imagine all that energy coming in, and then with all those interconnections, I imagine it all coming here and giving me all the energy so I'm ready to kickstart my day. Then what I do is I visualize 3 successes that I'm going to have in the future. So one could be a short term, one may be a long term, and one may just be something just for today that I want to really visualize and succeed in. And I make sure those colors are bright, I make sure there's sounds, I make sure that I'm feeling something while watching it, and I'm enhancing all those modalities so that it makes it more vivid and more alive so that I can start really preparing myself to move forward. Then I stand up and I do my power move, so like a move that makes you really feel energized. And then what I do is I go through my life sheet, which has got my values on, my goals, my strengths, and like my life purpose. And why do I have this? So this is understanding, okay, why am I here? For me, it's using my understanding of personal psychology to help people live a truly fulfilled life. And so I read that, then I read all my values. Because these are the things that mean the most to you in life, but sometimes we forget because we just go about our day. So I focus on these things. Okay, what is it that I value most? And I go through my list. So for yourselves, if you don't know your top 10 values, that's really, really important for you to start thinking about. Because any decision you make, you look at your values and think, okay, well, what is the most meaningful thing to me in life? And if it contradicts that, then maybe you should do something different. And that really helps with decision making. So then I look at my strengths. I mean, am I using my strengths? So I read them out and I think about them. And I then go through my goals for the year. And when I mean goals, I mean, what is it that I want to do? Whether it's connecting more with my girlfriend, whether it's exercising 4 times a week, am I doing that? And I just think about that. Then what I do is I take my, let's say, life purpose, which is, like I said previously, and I just repeat that to myself. Why do I do it? Because repeating it to myself is really, really helpful to start making my unconscious think about it. And it's really starting to process it. Then what I do is I contemplate it for about 5 minutes. I'm like, okay, how am I going to do this? Because it makes me start thinking creatively. Am I doing the right thing so far? And then maybe an idea will come up that perhaps I hadn't thought about before. And then I look into affirmations. So if you don't know what affirmations are, there's something that you want to say to yourself over and over again to work with your unconscious so you start believing it. In my previous videos, like taking 100% responsibility, so I'd say, I'm 100% responsible for my life. And you start saying these affirmations and you say it with emotion and feeling, and that will really help you move forward. But you don't just say it, you need to feel it and use emotion while you say it as well. Using a mirror is really, really powerful as well, so I would also suggest using that. The last thing I do is that I then do some stretching, because that also helps me loosen up before I prepare on my day. Because otherwise you get really tight. For many of you guys watching this that are going to sit all day, you're going to get tight, you're going to get agitated. So stretching in the morning for me has worked out really, really well. Okay, so I mentioned game to begin with, and what I've done is I've covered my routine, and now I want you to say what is great to have in your routine to help you move forward, which is what I teach in my seminars. And the first thing is G, which is gratefulness. So you need to think about 3 things that you're grateful for in the morning or the evening, or 5 things, whatever you want, but make sure that you're doing it every single day. Because you can't be angry and grateful at the same time. And being grateful puts you in a much, much better state. And thinking about those things every day just allows you to really be present in your life and really enjoy the things around you. So gratefulness is the first one. A is affirmations. So we spoke about them briefly, but create a list of affirmations for you. These are action steps, like some affirmations that really make you feel good. Have 3 minimum. So think of 3, write them down. Don't just watch this video and don't do anything. The whole point of watching any video like this is you learn something and you immediately do something after. Because if you're just passively watching these videos, then you're addicted to learning. That's a waste of time because you have all this knowledge but you're not doing anything with it. So the gratefulness, schedule it, whether it's a reminder or something on your phone. That's the first thing. Pause the video if you have to, just so you can get this stuff down instead of, oh, I'll remember that. Next, look into the affirmations and write 3 down that are really meaningful to you. If you're struggling about what these are, type in affirmations or comment below, I want an affirmation for strength, and I'll just write an affirmation for you that I think would be really, really powerful for you. Because often, reading an affirmation that perhaps makes you feel even more powerful is better than what you think, which is like, oh, I'm quite strong. Instead of, I'm the strongest man I could possibly be, right? There's a big difference there. So you want to be careful with, what your affirmations are. So feel free to post them below, and I'll comment and I'll say what I think about them. M is mindfulness. So what do I mean by mindfulness? I mean, slow down. Stop. Stop going about your day so quickly and doing all these things. Slow down, relax, be mindful, do meditation, do whatever it is you need to do that really helps you move forward. For me, it's my priming where I'm like visualizing everything, I'm taking my time. It's when I do my breathing and I'm just allowing myself to really be present and enjoy the moment. Most of us are so busy and we keep ourselves so busy and we wonder why we're not fulfilled. Best question I ever got asked, ever. What would happen if you stopped? Like, what would happen if you stopped? Something going, stopped what? Stop. No, just stopped. What would happen? Your mind's like, oh, I'd have to find something to do. I'd have to do this. I'd have to do that. It's a really interesting question. I really recommend you contemplate that and think about that. So have some sort of mindfulness in your routine as well. And the last thing is E, and E is evaluation. So why have I included this in here? Because these are the core habits, but evaluation is something that you could do every day, journal, right? I know I'm talking about morning routines, but whether you journal in the morning, whether you journal in the evening, whatever you want, but have some sort of evaluation in there. I'll discuss with another video with regards to weekly, monthly, and yearly, but have some sort of daily evaluation for, just discussing how the day was, just so you can process it, instead of just going about so busy that you never really get to process all the information that's going on in your life. So with that, I'd like to say thank you very much for listening. Once again, comment with affirmations, comment with any questions you have. If you think there's something missing from this morning routine, let me know. I've done loads of different morning routines, and for me, this is the most powerful one I've done yet. And really start to implement it, not just all your learning, right? And that'll really help you move forward. So subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure to comment below, like the video if it's made a difference in you, or don't like it, or just say you don't like it if it hasn't, but at least have some sort of communication in there so I know how you're doing and if this has actually impacted you. Thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you next week.